Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kelley Parker YouTube channel where we create tech champions. This is part 2 of the installation chronicles, chronicling the installation process and GUI and other abnormalities and obsolete methods of installing Fedora 1 through 40. We're on Hyper-V. We're going to create a new virtual machine. We're going to call it Fedora 2. We're going to store it in a different location, that location being our Fedora 2 folder inside of our Fedora 1 to 4 Hyper-V folder. Next, we're going to call it Generation 1, give it 1024 megabytes of memory, give it a switch. Let's go ahead and put this in its appropriate directory. We're going to install the Fedora 2 DVD, click Finish, and now we are going to open up Fedora 2. Let's see how it looks. To install or upgrade a graphical mode, push the enter key. To install or upgrade in text mode, type Linux text. So it's a similar it's a similar procedure from Fedora 1. It's just we don't have that pretty graphic at the top that says Fedora 1 with all the pretty background gradients. So let's try graphical this time and see if we have better luck installing the GUI. Let's just see what happens. Hopefully it works a lot more easily. To begin testing the CD media before installation, push OK. We're gonna skip, no need to test anything. And it's going through the typical run through like it did before with Fedora 1. Generic 3-button mouse. It actually detected the mouse, I actually noticed that. So hopefully we don't have to select the mouse this time around. And we got the same graphical glitchiness like when we tried the graphical install on Fedora 1. It looks like I am able to scroll up and down, but it looks like a mess of text. I'm like tabbing, pushing space bar, trying to see if I can navigate the menu, but it's not working so well for me. So we're gonna go ahead and reset the VM. This time we're gonna do Linux text and see if we can install Fedora 2 via the text-based option, which I'm betting we will be able to. All right, we're going to skip testing the media, and Anaconda is running. The Fedora Core system installer is running, and I do appreciate text-based installers. I kind of feel like they are pretty much guaranteed to work no matter what graphic system you're running on. Welcome to Fedora Core. Thank you. Click OK. Language English, simple as that. And note at the top here, Fedora Core's date 2004, so 1 year after Fedora 1. We're going to select the US keyboard. It will let me tab over. And it's interesting. I'm trying to click back into the VM, but it's not letting me for some strange reason. There it is. We're going to select our US keyboard. So this time we have a monitor configuration. We did not have that with Fedora 1. Select your monitor for your system. Use the default button to reset the probe values. So if we go to monitor and go to change, you can enter the sync rates for your monitor. It's usually not necessary to edit sync rates manually, and care should be taken to make sure the values entered are accurate. So you have a H sync rate and a V sync rate. So horizontal sync is between 31.5 and 37.9, and V sync is 50 to 70. Let's go ahead and cancel out of that. I don't think we will need to modify that. I mean, you never know, but let's leave the volume. Let's just leave the values as default and just hit OK. You have not selected a monitor type. It is recommended you choose the closest matching model in order to have the highest possible display quality. I think we're going to ignore this because we already have a very good monitor. Hopefully Hyper-V can translate that information appropriately to Fedora 2, and we'll click proceed. Searching for Fedora core installations, we have our same installation types that were presented to us in Fedora 1: personal desktop, workstation, server, or custom. Let's go ahead and go with custom because I want to see all the different options that are added, like with firewalls and whatnot. So we're going to do auto partition, and we're still using HDA. We're going to remove all Linux partitions on the system. Yes, we're going to select OK here, and we're going to use the grub bootloader. Bootloader configuration we're going to ignore. Grub password we will ignore. Bootloader configuration, yes, we are going to select HDA2 and install the bootloader on HDA. And let's go ahead and customize the firewall real quick. And we have the same options we had before: SSH, Telnet, HTTP, SMTP, FTP. We'll just select those 5 basic services, select OK. We'll select OK here. Language support, we'll just do English USA. Time zone, we're in Central Time, so we will select America, Chicago. Pick a root password, and we are now with the package group selection. X Windows System, GNOME Desktop, KDE. Editors, basically the same more or less options we had before. This time with the bottom we have compatibility Arch support. Not sure what that is, but we'll go ahead and select everything. And that boosts our total install size from the base 2.25 gigabytes to just over 6.75 gigabytes. We'll select OK. Installation to begin. Complete log of your installation will be in the root install log. OK. Now it's formatting. So hopefully this is a fairly smooth process. RPM transaction, an exception occurred. An unhandled exception has occurred. This is most likely a bug. I'm not gonna waste too much time reading this, just some Python errors, but we're gonna just click OK and just proceed. And hopefully we can just get through here. Install exited abnormally. You may safely reboot your system. Looks like everything kind of failed here. Let's go ahead and reset the VM. Let's try Linux text again for our text-based installation. And I guess we have to start this whole process over, which is unfortunate. I guess the only thing we'll try different this time is the monitor. Let's actually select a monitor type. I wonder if that perhaps interfered. And look at all these monitor types we have. We have unprobed monitor, LCD panel, monitor, ADI. We have a lot of monitors. Acer, Action Monitor, Aspire, CTX, all these little Wish.com version of monitors, Copal, Compaq. Okay, I didn't know this many monitors existed back then. We got some Dell monitors, digital, ESO, Fujitsu, Gateway, HP, Hitachi, Hyundai, IBM, Mitsubishi, Nokia. Oh wow, all the TV brands, Samsung, Sony. I wonder if someone out there has like a Hall of Fame collection of all the OG monitors that existed like 20 years ago. ViewSonic, Zenith. That's a lot. Let's just pick monitor 1600 by 1200. Surely the installer will be fine with that. And we'll leave the H-Sync rate and V-Sync rates alone. Just as long as we have a monitor selected, that's probably what matters most. We'll do, this time, let's actually do personal desktop. Just keep things simple. We'll do auto partition, select the same options we selected before. No grub password, bootloader configuration, and let's try no firewall just to see what happens. No firewall, yes. Language English. Let's go up to Chicago for our time again. Can you go without a password? Remember that the root password is a critical part of system security. Okay. Root password must be at least 6 characters long. We'll just do Kelley then. Wow, 6 characters? I don't think anyone would get away with anything 6 characters these days for a password. Click OK. Let's actually not customize software selection so we can have the most default installation as possible, just so we can install Fedora 2. Whatever software is on there, we'll go with it. It's formatting the file system again, and we have an error yet again. Unhandled exception has occurred. That's not good. So install exited abnormally. Well, it looks like we're not able to install Fedora 2 for some reason. I really don't want to spend too much time troubleshooting, so what I'm going to do is, believe it or not, I am going to download another Fedora 2 ISO of a different architecture. I'm going to try the i386 architecture because that's what worked for the first one I used for Fedora 1. So Fedora 2 ISO, let's go ahead and download the i386 DVD architecture instead. And we're going to see if we have better results with that rather than the x86-64 version. And I am moving in my Fedora 2 i386 DVD ISO, which is right here, is in my folder. And now we're going to create a VM based off of that. Actually, we don't need to really create a VM. I'm just going to switch the ISO around on that Fedora 2 VM. Go to your settings here. We're going to switch that DVD to this one, the i386, and maybe we will have better luck with it. Let's go ahead and start it up and connect. And I can already sense we're going to have better luck because we've got the Fedora 2 GUI at the top of the screen. I don't know. I feel like we will have much better luck. Let's try Linux text enter, and hopefully Fedora 2 will actually install this time without any errors. Oh, it detected the monitor type RYI 109-B5. Are you serious? Previously it said unrecognized or something, so that's promising actually. Let's go and select all of our options. Personal desktop, auto partition. I'm just gonna try to rush through this. Select OK, bootloader, configuration, defaults. Okay, okay. No firewall because we are insecure. This operating system is insecure as is. Okay, we'll do New York even though we're not there. Reading package configuration, no need to customize anything. Okay. Formatting the file system, please don't error out. The longer it goes without spitting anything back, like an error or any type of message, the more confident I feel. It's at 11%, 44%. I think we're proceeding. I'm excited to see where this takes us. Still going, still going. Fingers crossed here. Fingers crossed. 77%, keep going, keep going. 99%, all right, it's going. Preparing RPM transaction. All righty, we are making it further. So i386 architecture actually works over the x86-64 architecture. I'm confused why that works, but I mean, whatever works, works, right? And kernel's installing, and we've only got a little over 2 gigs since I opted for the personal desktop defaults. So I didn't customize anything, really for the sake of time, make everything go a lot faster. But I like the package installation window that's clearly giving you the amount of time that's elapsed, the amount of time remaining until all packages are deployed. So far it says only 17 seconds remain. I wonder how long it took back in the day on your old IDE drives to install Fedora 2. And if you know that, comment below. I would like to know. 98%, 99%, performing post-install configuration. I think we're home free. Installing bootloader. Congratulations, your Fedora core installation is complete. Remove any installation media, which I don't think it's installed. Nothing's installed, and we'll click reboot. And we're about to be on Fedora 2 before you know it. Same type of message we had before, rebooting system, but this time no error. We have Fedora core or Fedora core up. It's probably similar to the messages we got on, or the type of, this is probably similar to Fedora 1, in which the first option takes you to a text environment, and the second one takes you to the GUI. But we'll see to be sure. Setting default font, Red Hat Nash version 3.5.22. Wonder what Nash version is. File system type is ext2fs. ext2 was used back then. My goodness. We've come a long way. Now everyone says use either ext4 or XFS. Most people go with ext4 because you can shrink and increase the size of your volume as necessary. So the font's kind of stuck. Let me just push enter here. If it'll proceed, looks like it's stuck. I don't know if it's stuck or if it's just waiting for me to say something, push enter. Looks like it's not going anywhere. We'll give it a minute or two. It doesn't look like it's moving, which is unfortunate. I want the OS just to boot up. Let me go ahead and reset because I'm not patient right now. Let's try Fedora core up. Unsupported Intel chipset. Looks like it proceeded. We have a GUI, my friends. Let's go. Let's go. We've got a GUI. There it is. Welcome. License agreement. Click next. We'll go with the default date. We don't gotta be specific. Resolution. So the lowest was 640 by 480 all the way up to 1152, 864. Millions of colors, 256 colors, or thousands of colors. Let's do millions of colors. Full name, let's do Kelley all the way. Configure for Kerberos or NIS. We will ignore that for now, but your options at this time were LDAP support, NIS, commonly used on small to medium networks. I actually worked for an employer recently that actually still uses NIS in 2024. HESCOD, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Winbind I've heard of, but never actually worked with. Click next, next, next. And just like that, my friends, we are at the login screen. And Fedora 2 core has loaded. Okay, that was actually not too bad. Got the hat here for accessories, got our games. What games are on here? We got Solitaire. I like it. Solitaire. Oh, that's awesome. Gosh, I actually like the old school Windows Solitaire already compared to this Isle Riot Klondike. I need the Klondike bar after reading that text. What else? What other games do we have? Chromium. This is Chromium. We're not talking about the web browser. We're talking about a game. There's no sound. If any of you are expecting sound, I don't think sound is going to be working here. So we are running a game. Oh my goodness. We are playing Chromium. This is like a kind of like a Space Invaders type game almost. And the graphics are okay. I'm moving my mouse around, but my ship is kind of glitching around, so it's not the smoothest of movements. Do not let any ships pass you. Each one that passes you costs a life. So I like the 3D, but yeah, this is not really a playable game, unfortunately, on Hyper-V. It may be elsewhere, like bare metal, but not here. How do we quit out of the game? I may have to mouse out of this and then right click the bottom and come on, mouse, where are you at? It's not letting me mouse out easily. Maybe I hit escape and get out of the game, I'm guessing. Looks like I am not able to easily escape out of Chromium BS. Oh, there we go, there's my mouse. Can we? No, it's not letting me do anything. I am frozen. I am frozen. I cannot interact with this desktop anymore. I'm confused. I can get out of the VM just fine, but looks like the game is not letting me exit, so I can't interact. So I'm gonna go and just reset the VM. Let's select Fedora Core up again. It should just take us straight to the login screen. Wait for it. Welcome to Fedora Core. Press I to enter the interactive startup. Your system appears to have shut down uncleanly. We don't care. We do not care. And we are back on our desktop. What are the games on here? I really want to check those out because I couldn't really get the games to load on the first one. Ataxx? What is Ataxx? What am I looking at here? Who's ever played Ataxx? Is this kind of like a Go type game or something? That is fascinating. I mean, I wish we had more than just the basic 4 games on Windows 95 back in the day. What other games do we have? 4 in a row, Connect 4. Free Civ, like Civilization, I guess. A server for it, not bad. Klodsky, Yagno, Lines, Maelstrom. Mahjong, Mines, Minesweeper. Yes. Who doesn't appreciate a good old game of Minesweeper? What other games do we have here? Robots, Stones, Tolly, Tetravex. What is this? Tux Racer. It's like a racing game. Enter an event. Let's quit. I don't want the game to freeze my input here. We have a web browser and actually loaded. That's the Fedora project, sponsored by Red Hat Mozilla. Wow, that is very old school looking. Are we connected to the internet? Nope, we are not. We have internet, we have email client. Very old school email client. System tools, browse file system. There's the root of our drive. Looks mostly similar over the years. Programming, Emacs, text editor, simple. Wow. I've never used this machine. I've never used Fedora 2 before, but it feels like I am going back in time as if I have used it in a previous life. Server settings, got your services here. All your different services on the left. I'm gonna take a stab of trying to, and Kickstart was a thing back then. Wow. Kickstart files. I'm gonna try to take a stab of trying to connect to the internet, or at least to the network, just to see if I can actually do it. Network device control wouldn't be there. Preferences, network proxy, network servers, system tools. How would I even configure the network? System settings, network. There it is. New. VPN connection, ISDN token ring, wireless XT. Lots of connections here. We'll do Ethernet, other Ethernet card. Not messing with these IRQs. That's way beyond the scope here. HP LAN. I'm just gonna pick something random. Hostname, Fedora 2, VM, 192, 168, 175, 255, 255, 2550. Let's see if this works. Inactive. Can we activate? This does not seem to be present. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna bother with this. I'm not gonna bother trying to go down the rabbit hole of configuring network on an antiquated OS. You have a floppy formatter? Gosh. File system type ext2 or FAT? FAT, we're going like really far back in time. Volume control, sound recorder, preferences, desktop background, solid color, horizontal gradient. You can change your gradients here. I wonder if that actually changed anything. Fill screen. Wow. Accessories, you have text editor, basic text editor there, gedit specifically. About myself. Office, my office. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Login shell, bash, sh, bash 2, ash, bsh, t, csh, or csh. Wow. And under terminal, let's go to our terminal real quick. Hostname, localhost name. Hostname ctl was not a command back then. Wow. Hostname, Fedora 2. You must be root. Let's do sudo. Incident will be reported. We're on his root now. Host name, Fedora 2. So that's how you changed your host name back then. Interesting. You got hostname CTL these days. Well, there's our terminal. Most of your basic Linux commands work just fine. Office, you got open office here. Wow, that's cool. So that's Fedora 2 core, my friends. It loaded up just fine, but we had to use the i386 architecture and use the text-based install to get this to work. So hopefully you enjoyed, and I will be releasing Fedora 3 in the near future. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy what you see here today. We'll catch y'all on part 3.